And here we are. Welcome to the Day Trading Coach. This is Friday, October 23rd, and we're doing our 7 p.m. class. Friday nights at this hour, we like to talk about mindset. What I did, I borrowed from Waldorf Homeschoolers website. I borrow this information here. And I actually found this information on just a picture. And I've looked for it. Today I invested extra time and found the people to give them credit for this information. Success, health success, love success, money success, relationship success in our lives can only take place if we maintain better than 95% of the time a 200% energy level. An energy level below 200%, the refrigerator breaks, we finally get a bonus, and the tires in the car fall off, the roof leaks. Anything under 200% energy on a regular basis, things just keep going wrong in our lives. To understand that, now, do invest the time listening to what I'm saying, and don't focus on what is written here, because you'll be wasting your time. Focus first on what I'm saying, and then we will read this, so everything will come together, and it will take effect in your life. A word, when I say a word, and I say that word flat, that's like taking a piece of a grain or corn, any kind of seed, and drop it in cement. When I say a word, a phrase, a statement with amazing emotion, that's like taking a seed and planting it into the ground. Let me take that back. When I say a word, flat, is like taking a seed and planting on cement. When I say a word and I give thought to the word, I give imagination, I activate my imagination over the word and statement I'm saying, now I've taken that word, that seed, and planted in fertile ground. When I add an emotion to it, so for example, if I add an exciting emotion to it, a joyful emotion to it, a feeling, a joyful feeling to it, I will water and fertilize that seed, and that seed will grow and will multiply 100, 1,000 times fold. If I take the same word and I use emotion, I use visualization, imagination to it, and I plant it on the ground, but yet I give that phrase, that statement, that word, anything below 200, I curse the seed, and the seed will rot. It won't grow. You guys, I had to take a step back there, but are you guys seeing what I'm saying? You're hearing me. Can you understand what I'm saying? Okay. Remember, people that live from paycheck to paycheck, they pretty much stay below 200. People who make a lot of money, and we're talking about money now, they pretty much stay at 200 and above. That's why rich people keeps getting richer, while folks who struggle keep on struggling. It has to do with the feeling, with the emotion that we are adding to the different situations in our life. Just because you consciously would like to do better financially, just because your heart desires to do better financially, that won't change without a couple things. One is the visualization, the imagination working on that, and the type of, I'm going to use the word joy, the type of feeling you add to it. You should write this down. You should write this down. You should be very conscious what I'm talking about. I've shared with you that a human being can have about 60,000 thoughts a day. 80% of those thoughts are negative. So if 80% of your thoughts of the average person per day is negative, that person is vibrating below 200. And it makes sense. Most everybody is unhappy. Most people across the world are unhappy, and most people across the world complain that everything is terrible. How are you, sir? So far, so good. Well, that's negative. That's below 200. So if a human being has about 60,000 thoughts a day, 1, 2, 80% of those thoughts are negative, 3, 95% of what they think about every day is the same thing, no wonder most people in the world don't really progress. Let's read this. Measure your vibration, an incredible guide to your energy. Awareness of a problem is 50% of its solution. So when people aren't aware of how they're bringing themselves and their luck down with their emotions of shame, blame, despair, regret, anxiety, hate, scorn, maybe it's because they simply don't know any better. Now, this is just not any class. This is a very important class. This is probably one of the most important classes. This has to do with the way you see life. You got to pay attention, and you cannot walk away from this class tonight as just a class, because then you wasted your time and my precious time. Just about everyone you spoke to today, you've encountered these kind of traits in people. Regret that they do something, despair because they don't have enough, blaming everybody for whatever happens to them in their lives, feeling ashamed about something they did, anxiety, especially with this whole thing going around with the coronavirus, hate for others, and scorn putting people down. Maybe it's because they simply don't know any better. We've all heard the phrase, birds of a feather flock together, or like attracts like. But who would think that each emotions each have a specific vibration level that may be drawing situations and people into our lives that we don't really want? I'm going to say this. I'm going to say maybe 20 years ago. 20 years ago, there was this organization that they traveled the world, and these people were volunteers. They were called prayer warriors. Prayer warriors. And these prayer warriors would be systematically placed in certain places, and they would pray for the area. In this case, it was Chicago, New York, Louisiana, New Orleans. And what they've done with these people is they would put, for example, half a dozen of them around Chicago. They would put so many according to the number of the population. They would put these prayer warriors, and literally in a matter of weeks, the crime dropped dramatically in Chicago. And that went on for several months, and nobody understood why. And then when they removed these prayer warriors, the crime rose right back to where it was. Right back to where it was. You see, imagination is creation. Joy. Let me read some more here so then I can put the package together for you. That's why the work of David Hawkins, MD, PhD, in his groundbreaking book Power versus Force, has been such a revelation to people about how they can upgrade their lives. By the way, this book is in Amazon. He points out that emotions like humiliation and guilt are at the very low 20 and 30 vibration levels on a scale of consciousness. How about this? Guilt. How many of us have guilt and we express that guilt to ourselves, for example, and we feel guilty of things? How about humiliation? That's the lowest. And how many folks express guilt just for sympathy, yet they put in the emotion on that? They're not gaining anything, they're losing everything. And that at a vibe less than 200, a vibe less than 200, their effect on any group is likely to be negative. In other words, if you are vibrating below 200, you're not only hurting yourself, you're hurting your family, you could be hurting your neighborhood, because you have the power that to affect hundreds of people just by the way you feel. Conversely, someone above the 200 mark is more likely to be contributing to the overall energy field of a group and raising it up. Hawkins points out that the vast majority of the world's population is well below the 200 mark. Of course the majority is below the 200 mark. Majority of the world, and the majority is like at least 90%, live based on fear, negativity, no hope. But here, as he says up here, they simply don't know better. They simply don't know better. And that's sad. But now that we know better, there's no need for this. Amazingly, the few people vibrating at a very high levels, like the Dalai Lama 500 plus, are counteracting the energy of the majority vibrating below 200. And now the world vibrational average, and now the world vibrational average now is 207. Only in the last decade has it passed 200 mark. Someone vibrating at 350 counteracts 200,000 people below 200. Someone vibrating at 350 can lift up 200,000 people below 200. Someone vibrating at the level 500 is counteracting 750,000 people below 200. Emotions at the top of the scale are peace, bliss is 600. Joy, serenity is 540. Love, reverence, appreciation, thankfulness at 500. Think about that. Think of how you probably feel when those exalted states, think of how you personally feel when in those exalted states. You guys remember when I do the classes and I've talked to you about, remember when you first met your sweetheart, how you felt? Do you remember the best time you had this year, the best time you had last year? Do you remember when you laughed and you were happy and you were enthusiastic? You probably were vibrating at 500. Learn enough about yourself to know how to take yourself there often. This book, which he's talking about, the book down here, literally changed my life. When you realize that we do live in a world made of energy and we are indeed energy beings, and that our energy affects everyone and everything around us, then being more conscious with what you do with that energy because the utmost importance. Got to be conscious with what we do with it, with that energy. You know, have you ever walked into a house and you just wish you never walked in? Yes or no? Or even a store. Even a store. You feel the vibes, yeah? You feel the vibes. It's just something is not right. What they call bad vibes. Do you ever walk into a place that you just feel so welcome? You just feel like you don't want to leave. Yes or no? Have you walked into a place that you had so much, it was just so nice to be there? Yeah? I urge you to check out this book. I highly recommend it. Power versus Force. Well, if you are trading, if you are trading, and then all of a sudden, for some reason, okay, so how about this? You approach the market in the morning, and you start thinking something like this: I hope I do better today than yesterday. You think that vibrates at 200 or better? It does not, does it? Okay, think about it. You approach the market, and in the morning, before you even look at your charts, and you start adding how much money you got left in your account. You approach the market, and your thought is, today I won't move my stop loss. You approach the stock market, and you're thinking, I did 2 trades yesterday that didn't work, and I got to do better today. I just can't afford. I just can't afford to take another loss. How about that? So, what level of vibration are you in that? Yeah, low, very low. And then, what happens to the morning? How about getting out of bed and something is just not correct, and you say to you just hit your foot in the bedpost, and you say, today is going to be one of those days. You look outside, it's snowing, and you don't want to go to work, and you say, I hate this job. I wish I didn't have to go to work. What kind of vibration is that? It's very easy to understand why most people don't do well in life. In other words, they struggle. Now, they may love their families, they may be happy with their families, but that does not mean that the other areas of life are not falling apart. One of the things about a lot of wealthy people is they do well with money, but they don't do well, for example, with friends. They don't do well with something else or with their health. Everything that the day trading coach presents to you, it's about a complete lifestyle. Everything to do with what we do every single day. Today, how many times you said we can't afford it? Well, what do you think that vibrates like? That's sadness, isn't it? Isn't that sad? When you want something and you say you can't afford it, realize you can't afford it, what kind of emotions you're pushing out? So what kind of aroma, let me use, is coming out of your body? What does the universe smell? You afraid, an animal smells, senses the fear. That's the same thing. When you are in desperation to start making money because you got bills to come to pay, what kind of vibration are we vibrating in that way? See, I'm talking real fast here, but this is something that you got to pause and you got to analyze. We got to analyze ourselves. And what's going to change? What's going to change? What's going to change if we keep the same thought process? If 95% what we think about is the same stuff every day, What's going to change? What can change? What is it that our brain is going to give us to excite us, for example? Well, peace and bliss. To be in peace and bliss is to be carefree, is to let things be. But that doesn't mean you stop imagining. Imagination is what will create. So if you really want to see what your life is going to be like, let's say in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, think about what's going through your imagination, your mind. What is it that you're dwelling on? Is it exciting? Is it heart fulfilling? Do you feel just amazing? Or it's stressful? It's stressful, for example. What are you thinking? Now, it's exhilarating. Now, how do you maintain that? Wait. Okay, so it's exhilarating. You must maintain that. Oh, we can have a day that, but for the most part, the enthusiasm within us has to be maintained, has to be. If 80% of the people, if 90% of the people in the world throughout the day has 80% of negative thoughts, and if 10% of the people in the world, okay, so if 80% in the world has, if 90% of the people in the world has 80% negative thoughts, and 90% of the people in the world live from paycheck to paycheck in poverty, think about the numbers. And 10% of the people in the world make plenty of money. What do you think the 80% of their thoughts are about? No, not everybody's negative. Yeah, on those that I just mentioned. But then there's the 10% that makes all the money in the world. What do you think? That they have 80% negative thoughts or 80% positive thoughts? Exciting thoughts. We're talking about money here right now. What do you guys think? Positive thoughts, of course. So if 90% of the people that lives from paycheck to paycheck, they are having 80% negative thoughts, 10% of the people that have so much money beyond our imagination, they have an 80% positive thoughts. And then we need to check ourselves. What about us? Because what matters is us. What matters is you, Wade, you, Kevin, you, Armand. What matters is you, Reno. It's you, Willie. Those are the names I can see here right now. What matters is you. Because if you are a negative person, you'll affect your coworkers, you affect the members here in this room, you affect your family, and for sure, you affecting your health and your wallet. Yet, we, most of us who are here, we're here because we want to improve our lifestyles. We are here because we want to improve our income. We want to work an hour and a half a day conducting business, and we want to make as much money in that period of time as what we used to make, let's say, in a week or even a day. We must stop and think, if I live from paycheck to paycheck and I'm having 80% of what I think through my mind is all stuff that harms me and my family, then it is up to me to put my foot down with myself and demand a different way of seeing things. And if I cannot do it on my own, I got to reach out to people who can help me accomplish that. It's that simple. And then I am the one who must keep myself up. If you are dealing with shame, blame, despair, regret, anxiety, hate, scorn, How about anger? You think anger falls in here? You think anger falls in here? And whatever else you can add to it. Then you are living in a very, very low vibration. How many of you remember me saying to you, jealousy, Scott? Yeah? I mean, there's much more you can add to this. But the other thing is this. How many times have you heard me say, we must maintain our energy above the navel? You see, at the navel and right above the navel, you're about 200. Okay? Then, then at the heart level, you're vibrating at about 500. And of course, the more excited, when I met my wife, I was vibrating at 1,000, maybe 1,200. When I saw her, when I talked to her, the first time I touched her, I was today, 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 I still vibrated over 1,000. Yes, walking on clouds. There you go, Justin. That's a good way to put it. How does one get oneself to that? How does one get oneself to that point? If every time you try to look in your mind for a joyful thing, the odds are you're going to get hit upside the head with all the negative stuff for the day before, because that's what's embedded in our subconscious mind. I've said it the other day. If you consciously want to improve your life, one, and your heart desires, your heart actually cries for, you know what? Every one of our hearts cries for success. The only thing that keeps us going is our hearts. It cries for success. It cries for peace, for love, for joy. Our hearts cry for health. The center of us, the highest part of us, our heart. And our heart actually literally has a brain that talks, by the way, in case you did not know that. It cries for the goodness of life. Consciously, we notice things and we desire those good things. But now, the part that it's running us, the subconscious mind, says it's not possible. Nothing will ever change. That's just the way things are. The subconscious mind, that's supposed to be our best, it is our best. The subconscious mind has no feelings, first of all, no emotions. But the subconscious mind, it's the part that governs and brings to us the experience we have every day. Once your subconscious mind is programmed to speak English, programmed to speak Mandarin, programmed to speak Italian, that's what it knows. And that's what it will, is that what presents to us to experience every day. Once your subconscious mind is accustomed to something, and of course, the more years in this world you have, the more of this, for the most part, garbage is in us, the more we must devote the time to reprogram that part of us that runs our lives. You think you run your life consciously right now? You do not. You don't run your life from conscious. Listen, this doesn't apply to all of you. All of you have learned a lot. We got guests here. I spoke with a young man today, and I was encouraging him to understand the difference. If you've been making 70, 100, $200,000 a year, and you've been doing this for the past 3, 4, 5 years, you're stuck. The only reason you haven't made $1 million is because you never trained your brain to make $1 million. You have trained your brain to make the 70 or the 100 or 200, but you never took the time to get out of the box, to get out on the ledge and forget what everybody else thinks and bring yourself up to make the $1 million or the 2 million or whatever the number. Is everybody with me here? Are you hearing me? Now, it's so easy. It's so easy. You know, we're coming to another year's end, and just about everybody will look at this year and I got something got to change. I'm going to make goals for next year, and folks write things down, whatever the goal may be, financially, personal, whatever the goal may be. But as soon as the year goes from 2020 to 2021, within about a week, all those goals have been just blown away, shot away. Why? Because they don't understand. It's not about the dreamers, Justin. Okay, we all dream, right? Is they don't know how to bring those goals to life because the old self keeps kicking in every single day, guys. Like I say, we get out of bed on the same side of the bed, we put our pants on the same way, we have the same drink, we make the same phone calls, we talk to the same people every single day. It's like a merry-go-round. It doesn't stop. Monica, I think is more lack of understanding. I really think what this thing says is maybe it's because they simply don't know any better. Ignorance of knowledge, for example. But now that we know, now that we know, now that we know, how dare we let go of this? How devastating it will be for us to let go of this information. The Day Trading Coach have provided all of you with so many different ways of looking at the imagination, mindset, the way to do it, the PowerPoints, the essays. But this is not something, look, if we've been for 30, 40, 50 years of our lives, 60 years of our lives, living, even if we're not living for paycheck, we got a little bit, we got $500,000 saved. We hold on to that money like our lives depend on it. The fear of losing it. That's our security. That's our security. Even people with $1 million don't have enough money. Nobody can retire on $1 million. This is not 1950 or 1960s or 70s. This is 2020. But I assure you this, you do hear what's being shared with you in all the videos we've provided to you about mindset, and you add this to it to bring you up a step up on a concept, and you take this to heart, and you do due diligence to apply this as often as possible, your life automatically, everything just becomes easy and simple. You know, I got things in my life that for the past 2 months, 3 months, it's been happening, and now I'm saying, why is this happening? What am I doing? What am I missing? What is it that I'm not doing enough? And of course, I've come up with the answer. I know the answers. Now it's up to me to turn this ball around. If you look at your day, how much of your day is a day it's lived in absolute enthusiasm? And maybe now you'll say, well, my day is, well, you've been involved with a day trading coach. So go before you knew the day trading coach and really think how much of your day was lived in a bliss, in a joyful, enthusiastic moments. I can't even find the word for what I'm trying to say here. Okay? Think about that. How much of A week ago, that week was absolutely so good, you don't even want the week to end. But this is where you guys and you ladies need to think about. This is how we check ourselves. This is how we sit down, we write things down, and we realize, oh my goodness, what have I been doing? Now, sometimes we may think there's no choice for being happy, but I just use the word choice. Being happy is a choice. Being loving is a choice. Being angry is a choice. Because there is no such thing as a problem without a solution. No such thing. So in every situation, there is the opposite. We can look at the side that hurts us, or we can flip the coin and imagine the good side of things. In everything, there's a good side. Somebody said to me the other day, for being a Christian and knowing the Bible, there's scripture that says all things happen for the good of those who believe. Oh my goodness. So the question was told me, so what's so good about breaking a leg? Well, what's the bright side of that? Breaking a leg, you didn't break two. Breaking a leg kept you in a place that if you didn't broke the leg, you would have been someplace else. You could have been killed. Does that make any sense? No one wants to break a leg. But why can we not? Yeah, you could broken your neck. Am I making any sense here or no? Yes or no? You know, we want to start the car doesn't start. Okay? Well, there's a good reason for that. One of the reasons is that your energy is low. By the way, have you ever talked to a car who didn't want to start and the car starts right up when you start talking nice to it? I know I have. Has anyone ever experienced that? Yeah? I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding, Reno. It is true. A computer doesn't want to start. There's so many things. When you talk nice to it, hey, why do you think if you talk nice to plants? No, my wife can grow plants. You know, she's amazing. This lady can make plants grow out of nothing. I think she finds these twigs. She tells me what it is. I have no idea what she's talking about. She comes home. She plants them. She gives them love. And then a week later, she goes, see, I told you, look, it's growing. Chris to the Bobcat didn't want it to listen. Well, you should go back and check your energy level on that one. Oh, honey, you're here. Hi, I love you. Hey guys, Janelle is here today. That's interesting. Look at that. Say hello to my beautiful wife, will you? All those Indians speak Korean. Oh, that is so funny. Ladies and gentlemen, hear me. Hear me. Well, like right now, right? So I'm laughing. I'm happy. You think my vibration is 20 or you think it's 200? What do you think? It's 300. Well, that's good. And man, when you laugh, when you're happy, you just feel different, don't you? Since my wife joined, for sure 1,000. there, but joy is a choice. I can close my eyes and I can, with my imagination, see beautiful things. Can I not? Can I not see beautiful things in my imagination? Can I not create a successful, prosperous trading account in my imagination? Can I not, with my imagination, seeing myself flourishing before my eyes? By the way, the best way to see yourself succeeding with trading, especially in trading, is by seeing your family coming to you. This is in your imagination, and thanking you and congratulating you and supporting you. It's by seeing your friends say, hey man, I just heard you made $1,000,000. And watch your best friend or somebody else that you know come to you in your imagination. So what you doing? You living the future in your imagination in a present time. In other words, you planted a field of corn and now you can see the corn blooming before it blooms. Oh, here's another thing. It's the only way you will make $1,000,000 or better. You must make that happen within you before it shows up outside of you. Now, I never bought this book, but I am thinking about buying this book. Oh, by the way, I'm not promoting this book because I get any compensation, but I think it's a key tool to have, to read it, to study it, and plus we're using their material. So if you buy some books, um, they will appreciate it. Power versus Force. David Hawkins, MD, PhD. Do remember, any time that you feel shame, anger, that you blame, that you feel despair, regret, anxiety, hate, scorn, maybe it's because they simply don't know better. But when you do this, you're vibrating below 20. Right down here. Um, Emotions like humiliation and guilt are the very low, 20 and 30. So what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? That's the question. And now when you leave this class, if you're watching this class on a video and you're watching this class 30 days from now, for example, or tonight you're watching it, what should you do next? What should you do next? When you get out of this room here, this chat room, this classroom, you should sit down with a pencil and paper and check what happened today. Go back and look at the emotions, self-analysis. Self-analysis. Okay? We keep sharing with you the tools you need. The thing is, we cannot do it for you. Sure, we can be excited for you. We can feel your success. We can vibrate at a high level to support you. That's one thing I've wanted to do for all the members for some time is gather a few people together and just raise up the energy for the whole group to help make the change. And it will make the change. That's going to be probably one of the very next things we're going to start doing here. But look, you are responsible for you. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. The grass is not greener on the other side. Does that make sense? The grass is no more greener on the other side. Okay? Whatever we go, we take ourselves. It starts with us. It starts with each and every one of us. There's so much to be thankful, isn't it? We are here, are we not? We are involved. Do you ever just think about we are involved in the greatest, biggest business in the world. The only way this business runs out of money is if the world ends. In this business we are in, there's no lack of money. There's no lack of opportunity to make money daily. There is no limit really to the kind of money we can make. Think about it. And working the little I'm calling it work. It's not work, but let's say you working an hour and a half a day. Think about that. Behind your screen, as you look at the charts, through the charts, moving in your screen, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars moving through your screens every minute, if not second. And all you got to do is respect the business you're in, get your mind to function in a way that you can prosper with this business, relax, and you learn the codes that now you can take the money from the screen into your bank account. You don't have to leave your seat. You don't have to go outside unless you're trading from outside. You don't have to call anyone. Let me pull this chart up here. As the market was moving, there is hundreds of thousands of dollars through here. And all you got to do is learn how to click here, close here, and pick up $1,475 in a matter of 27, not even 3 minutes, 3 minutes. Think about it. How much time do you devote just to realize that? And this is something that you can do day after day after day after day. And you can take this number from 1,000 to 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 15,000, 20,000. You can take this number to 30, 40, $50,000 in less than 3 hours. Well, let's say 3 hours in the morning. Let's say 9:30 to 12. Too good to be true? What do you think too good to be true vibrates at? What do you think too good to be true vibrates at? Any idea? Very low, because too good to be true is like this scorn, isn't it? Making fun of it? Being sarcastic? Yeah? It's definitely way below 200. Because that's fear, that's doubt, that's mistrust, isn't it? It's rejecting, sure. Now, as we're going to end this session, you got to be, listen, there's a couple things you must be conscious of it. You must realize all the time, a human being can have 30 to 60,000 thoughts a day. You must remember this. 80% of the thoughts that the average person that lives from paycheck to paycheck and below is 80% negative. There's the reason why they don't get ahead. And then 95% of what a human being thinks every day, it's the same stuff they were thinking the day before, the day before, the day before. You can never forget those statistics. You should always remember, why does it the wealthy keeps getting wealthier? Their minds keep seeing opportunity. They keep finding solutions. They don't blame others. They take charge themselves. They take care. They do respect business. People in business, very successful, they one of their utmost things is they respect the business. When you're taking a trade and you're moving your stop loss, you're not respecting the business. When you just take a trade just to see if it works, you're not respecting the business. When you're trading 4, 5, 6, 7 times when you're supposed to do 1 or 2, you're not respecting the business. The other thing for you to keep in mind is the way you feel, the emotions you are expressing with everything. Okay? Think about that. It can be the answer to start having a flow of money versus a lack of money. Well, guys, I appreciate your time. Do stay with me here for a minute after I finish this class. I do appreciate your time, and I do know you've taken this class to heart and you're going to do something about it.